Boy, what a day for afternoon baseball here in Milwaukee. Finally, the humidity is cleared away, so is the rain, the sun is out, and we're ready for the Twins and Brewers, the finale of a three-game interleague series in this border battle. Ricky Weeks has been swinging a hot bat over the 3 games the Brewers have won in a row from the top of the lineup, and Corey Hart continues to lead the league in home runs as he continues to swing a hot bat as well. Well, the offense is definitely in gear, and so is the pitching right now as we welcome you as we continue our broadcast here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. Let's take a look at what has made the Brewers successful over their 3-game winning streak and a chance to sweep in this one. They have won 4 of the last 5 series at home as they go for the sweep. And you can kind of credit the starting pitching for that. Over the last 5 games alone, the starters' ERA at 2.73, and they have Yovani Gallardo on the mound to continue that trend today. And how about the best RBI duo in the National League? It's Hart and McGee with 104. Last year it was Braun and Fielder. How times have changed as far as Milwaukee's offense is going in 2010. The Brewers go for the sweep with an ace up their sleeve. The Crew goes for their first home sweep, believe it or not, of 2010. Brian and Bill will tell us how they're going to get it done with Yo on the mound as they try to close out the Twins on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. By AT&T, find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by the new Miller Lite Vortex bottle. Taste greatness.
Matinee baseball this afternoon at Miller Park in Milwaukee, and a glorious day it is. And there is Yovani Gallardo. The Brewers have won the first 2 games of the series, and they have their ace on the mound as they go for the sweep. You see Gallardo at 2.59 ERA. That is inside the top 10. Has a chance to go to the top in strikeouts as well. Hi, everybody. Brian Anderson along with Bill Schroeder. Great to have you with us today. It's a beautiful day for the grand old game. And I think the Brewers are excited to have their ace on the mound, Rock, and in an unfamiliar position. Instead of trying to snap a losing streak or pitching after a loss, he's trying to extend one here today to 4 in a row.
Yeah, he's been something else. I mean, he's really only had one bad start this year. That was his second start of the season against the Cardinals. You see what he's done since that time. And really, in the month of June, he's been throwing his best baseball. He's been establishing his fastball. He's been using his curveball sparingly. And in June, he's got a 2.08 earned run average, lowering his ERA to a National League 8th best. This guy's been pitching well. Great guy to have out on the mound today to get the sweep against the Minnesota Twins.
Well, is he an all-star? That's the question. Maybe with a good finish here as we approach the All-Star game in about 3 weeks. Yovani Gallardo can pitch his way to Anaheim. He certainly has been one of the best since April 21st. That 1.89 ERA is the 4th best in all of the National League. The Brewers have not swept the Twins since 1996. They have a chance to do it here today. It's the final game of the series, and it's coming up next on Fox Sports Wisconsin. And there he is, Yovani Gallardo, the 24-year-old ace right-hander, leading his club onto the field here at Miller Park as we are set for the final game of the series. The Brewers and the Twins. Ron Gardenhire's club, they've come in here, they've dropped the first two. They still have a game-and-a-half lead in the American League Central. Here is Gardenhire's lineup, brought to you by Subway. Look at the numbers for Justin Morneau this season against Milwaukee. He has destroyed the Brewers, although he has made the final out in the first two games of this series. No Joe Mauer in the lineup for the Twins today. Butera gets a call behind the plate. And Yovani Gallardo continues to be a model of consistency on the mound for the Brew Crew.
Yeah, even his last time out, he threw very well against the Colorado Rockies. Got taken out, after 6 innings, only had 105 pitches. That's the fewest pitches he's thrown in a long, long time this year. And so you figure he'd be pretty fresh here this afternoon.
Let's see how the Brewers line up defensively behind Gallardo this afternoon. It's Braun, Edmonds, and Hart in the outfield. Infield is McGee and Counsell on the left side. Weeks and Fielder on the right, with Lucroy catching Yovani Gallardo. And there's Craig Counsell. He gets the start at short here today for Alcides Escobar. Escobar and Gomez both on the bench to start this game. And the veterans Counsell and Edmonds in the starting lineup. Bruce Dreckman is the home plate umpire.
Showed the hold.
But Bruce Dreckman knows this game starts at 1:10 by golly, and it's 1:09. And now it's 1:10, and here we go.
Did that for us.
See?
Appreciate it.
The time is now, Rock, for baseball in Milwaukee. Denard Span leads off for the Twins. Left-handed hitting center fielder. And a strike call to get us started today. Span, not your prototypical leadoff hitter. He does not walk much. Matter of fact, he's drawn just 2 walks in his last 26 games. Has 1 hit in this series. And a bouncer out to Weeks. Ricky makes a nice play, and 1 gone here in the first inning. Well, Gallardo sitting at 3rd among National League pitchers in strikeouts, and he has a chance today with a big strikeout performance to get to the top of the list. Tim Lincecum pitched 2 days ago. He has 113 Ks. Certainly Dan Haren is in his sights, but you figured Gallardo is going to be in this race all season as long as he stays healthy.
Man, he's got the 8th best earned run average of any pitcher in the National League at 259. He's got a 221 opponent batting average, so all the vital statistics for Gallardo very good.
Orlando Hudson in the air to left, and that's playable for Braun. 3 pitches, 2 outs for Yovani Gallardo.
And one of the reasons why the Brewers have had success against the Twins in this series, the top 2 batters in the Twins order, only 2 base hits. And one of those an infield hit. So you keep these guys at the top of the order off the bases, you have a chance.
So 2 quick outs for Justin Morneau. Morneau had 3 hits here last night. Had 2 hits in the opener. He's driven in 2 runs. But as I mentioned, he has been at the plate representing the tying run in each of the first 2 games. John Axford has struck him out twice to end the game. No Joe Mauer today. He gets the day off, day game after a night game, which is typical for Ron Gardenhire as he tries to protect his valuable catcher. Brewers winning the first 2 games and securing a series win against the Minnesota Twins, and that's the first time the Brewers have won a series from the Twins since the 2005 season. They had won 5 consecutive series against Milwaukee in interleague play.
And you're talking about John Axford and Justin Morneau, very dramatic back-to-back nights, both on a strikeout. On Tuesday night, the slider got Morneau. Yesterday, a called fastball on the outside corner.
Gallardo in there with a strike, a fastball, and the count is 2-2 on Morneau.
Yeah, the Brewers historically have not done very well in interleague play, but they've won their last 2 interleague series. They beat the Angels 2 out of 3.
Overall, the Brewers in interleague play 5-5. Check that, 6-5 now after the win last night. 3-2 pitch, and Morneau in the left. Braun retreats. He's got it. 9-pitch inning to get us started. Gallardo a scoreless first. Now the Brewers are coming up.
Summer fun, greatest outdoor music festival in all the land, and it's going on right now. And the Brewers are in action today against the Twins. Couldn't have it any better, right? Subway lineup for Milwaukee. It's Ricky Weeks, Corey Hart, and Prince Fielder at the top of the order. Hart is riding an 8-game hitting streak, and he's been very productive during that streak, as you can see. Braun McGee and Edmonds in the middle of the order today, and then it's Lucroy, Counsell, and Gallardo to face Nick Blackburn, who beat Milwaukee in Minneapolis last month.
Yeah, he started out 6-1 this year and throwing very well. He actually won 5 games in May. He was 5-0 in May, but he's 0-3 in June in 4 starts with a 12 ERA. So he's right in the middle of a rough stretch right now.
Yeah, hard to figure Nick Blackburn's season this season. He's beaten the Yankees twice. He beat the Brewers in that big month of May. Well, the Brewers are hoping to hang a loss on him today and send the Twins to New York to play the Mets with a sweep on their hands. 0-2 to Ricky Weeks. Had a big game last night. Now, Ricky had 3 hits last night. He drove in 3 runs, including a 2 RBI single with 2 outs that put the Brewers ahead. And his number is impressive over the last 5 games. Look at that on-base percentage.
Yeah, that's the key. I mean, any leadoff hitter, it's nice to be able to get that 364 batting average, but it's all about getting on base.
Ricky Weeks starts the day as the top run producer among leadoff hitters in all of baseball. His 3 RBIs last night allowed him to pass Derek Jeter for RBIs from the leadoff spot. Ricky with 41 driven in. His 11 home runs, second only to Kelly Johnson among leadoff hitters of the Arizona Diamondbacks.
And really no surprise when Ricky Weeks gets on and he makes things happen to start the game. The Brewers end up winning, and he realizes that. He's a catalyst to this offense.
2-2 the count. And a strike called on the inside corner. Blackburn, when he's right, will command the inside corner as well as anyone, and he punches out Ricky Weeks for the first out.
He's not a big strikeout pitcher. Only 24 strikeouts before today's start. 19 walks. He pitches to contact, which is why ordinarily he's able to last deep into games. A good sinking fastball. He'll throw mostly sinkers and cutters. He'll throw a slider to a right-handed batter and some change-ups to lefties.
It's Corey Hart and a first pitch breaking ball for strike 1. Hart with 12 RBIs during that 8-game hitting streak, 54 ribbies for the year. Corey Hart has a chance to not only lead the league in home runs, but also lead the league in runs batted in. As we approached the All-Star game, little bouncer out to short. This is Nick Punto, out number 2. Our scouting report this afternoon on Nick Blackburn comes from Dale Swain.
Well, Blackburn's more of a guy that comes right at you with a lot of sinkers and sliders and mixes some change-ups in. Another guy that, you know, it's basically the Twins pitching staff over the years. You know, they come at you, they throw strikes, they don't walk you. When they're behind in the count, they throw a lot of strikes to get back in the count, and, you know, they just don't beat themselves by getting behind in the count and walking them.
No, they don't hardly ever walk anybody. That's the key. I mean, you don't walk many batters. They don't make many errors, although they've got 3 errors in this series. The best defensive team in all of baseball, but they haven't really shown it in this series.
Yeah, Gardenhire's club with an error in the opener and then 2 errors yesterday. He's had to shift his roster a little bit because of the National League setting and injuries as Fielder takes a ball. And again today, Gardenhire has Kadire at third base with Jason Kubel in right. J.J. Hardy still on the disabled list. So that bumps Nick Punto over to short. And ideally, Gardenhire would like Kadire in right field with Punto at third base, and then the keystone combination of Hardy and Hudson. Hardy's not available, so Gardenhire wants to make sure he keeps the big bats in the lineup, which is why he gives up a little defensively. It'll pop up in foul territory. Long run for Butera. He's got it. And the inning is over. 3 up, 3 down for Nick Blackburn. Away we go at Miller Park. We head to the second.
and Twins scoreless in their border battle. Reporting from the sidelines, I'm Drew Olson. While Yovani Gallardo gets ready to face the Twins here in the second, Doug Davis is preparing for his second and possibly final rehab start for AAA Nashville. Davis is slated to face Memphis tonight. Assistant General Manager Gord Ash told me he's going to throw 80 pitches. Now, how many innings that gets, Doug, we're not sure, but he's going to throw about 80 pitches. And, guys, it appears that he will be ready to be activated sometime early next week. The Brewers are going to have some decisions to make on their pitching staff.
Yep, and everybody is pitching well at this point. That's a good problem to have for Ken Maka and Rick Peterson. As Doug Davis is on the comeback trail. The Brewers already carrying 13 pitchers. And it will be interesting next week to see what the Brewers do as Davis returns to the rotation.
Hey, Chris Capuano right now seems to be the odd man out. He hasn't really had many opportunities to get in there. He's made one start, one other appearance out of the bullpen. But you risk losing Capuano should you send him down.
And putting Doug Davis back in the starting rotation will mean a decision needs to be made on how many lefties you want to go with in the rotation. It's possible the Brewers could have 4 left-handers in their starting rotation. You know, if Dave Bush goes to the bullpen, or does Chris Narveson, Manny Parra, all speculation at this point. Parra pitched well last night, his first win as a starter of the season, his second win of the year, and both of his victories have come against the Minnesota Twins, and he is starting to evolve as the kind of pitcher the Brewers thought he would be.
Yeah, he's been terrific. I mean, throwing a lot of strikes. I mean, he had a very good off-speed pitch last night, the changeup and the split-fingered fastball. 6 strikeouts in 5 2/3.
2-2 the count on Kubel, and Gallardo strikes him out. Delivers a fastball right on the corner. His first strikeout.
That burned off that inside corner. Actually looked like Kubel was looking for something else. That caught front of the plate. Yovani Gallardo on Saturday in Colorado was putting together a dandy. It looked as though he got taken out rather quickly. They needed some offense. They brought in a pinch hitter. Only 105 pitches for Gallardo in a game that the Brewers would go on to lose. But Yo just continues to throw the baseball well. We talked about it when we came on the air tonight, or today, that he's only had one bad start. That his second start of the year.
Started the season 0-2 and has 6 wins since. Nice play coming off the mound for Yo. And 2 outs as Kadire is retired.
Yeah, we've been talking about the run through the rotation for the Brewers. It's been very good, and one of the reasons, establishing fastballs. Every one of the 5 starters has done a nice job of that. Fastball first, then going with the breaking stuff, and they've been able to find their way getting ahead in the count rather consistently. It makes pitching a lot easier. And Yo able to bounce off the mound and grab that one. That ball gets by Gallardo. That's a base hit.
2 quick outs here, and it's Delmon Young. Young's been hot, red hot at the plate. He's hitting 17 of his last 18 games, and during that stretch, a significant stretch of 18 games, he's batting .409. Overall, he's hitting .309. And he's been a run producer, Rock, hitting from the bottom of the order typically, either 6th or 7th. Here's a guy with 47 runs batted in at this point. It took him until September 25th of last year to drive in his 47th run.
Well, he's got 47 RBIs and 217 at bats. I mean, that's pretty good. And he's doing a nice job for the Twins. Got caught stealing in a very big situation last night in the 8th inning, down by 2. Tried to steal a base, got into scoring position, and Luke Voigt threw him out. A base running blunder.
Ball and 2 strikes on Young. Coming inside, and Young gets sawed off. Ricky Weeks will make the play, and Gallardo is sharp early. 6 in a row he's retired to start it. And here comes Ryan Braun to lead us off. We head to the bottom of the second. No score at Miller. Scoreless as we head to the bottom of the second inning at Miller Park, Milwaukee. And Ryan Braun ready to lead off. Braun, McGee, and Edmonds to start it against Nick Blackburn. Our Powerball home run leaderboard looks like this as we start play today. Hart still leads the league with 18. Fielder in there with 13. And Braun checking in today with 10 homers and 47 runs batted in. Ryan has 3 hits in this series, and his manager was praising his hustle from yesterday's game, buying that extra run. There's a bouncer to Punto, and one gone here in the second inning. Now baseball's biggest stars go head-to-head for one spectacular night in the summer's biggest event, as Fox brings you every thrilling moment of the 2010 MLB All-Star Game. Coverage begins Tuesday, July 13th, live from Anaheim at 7 Central, only on Fox. So Braun retired, and here is Casey McGee. I think the one constant from what we've seen from the Brewers here lately, and especially in this series, Rock, the level of play has been elevated, and it's not just with the pitching, and usually the pitching is the leader in that race, but the Brewers are playing well defensively. They are good in certain situations offensively. They're still hitting their home runs, but the Brewers just overall are playing better, and they're starting to give the fans a little bit of hope on hopefully an excellent summer of baseball here at Miller Park.
Well, they're essentially playing Minnesota Twins type baseball. I mean, doing all the things right, playing good defense, not beating themselves. And the Twins, on the other hand, have come in here and not looked all that good in all honesty. I mean, they've been striking out a lot. 11 strikeouts last night for a Twins ball club that has the 3rd fewest strikeouts of any team in the American League. They just don't strike out much, but they have in this series.
Well, McGee in a hitter's count, and he takes ball 4. So Blackburn's first blemish, a 1-out walk, and a base runner for Jim Edmonds.
Hey, follow the Brewers on your iPhone, iPod Touch, BlackBerry, and Android phone with MLB.com. At Bat 2010, featuring play-by-play, video highlights, and live audio broadcasts. Visit Brewers.com today on your iPhone, iPod Touch, Android, or BlackBerry for details.
You know, I think the Braun at-bat last night really indicative of the Brewers' game so far in this series, the way they played, and Braun was up there with the bases loaded. The Brewers had a 1-run lead, and he hit a little slow roller, but he legged it out. He beat it out. There's a lot of run producers that are frustrated after an opportunity like that, and if it turns into a double play, the run doesn't score, and who knows what happens. Braun beat it out. It allowed a run to score. It changed the complexion of the ball game. The Brewers then had a 2-run lead, and it was a run they would need at the end of the game.
On that inning, the Brewers scored a run without even getting a base hit. Twins weren't able to turn it to a couple of double plays. Orlando Hudson didn't have a very good inning. So the extra outs not turning to double play, and Ryan Braun hustling got the Brewers some insurance. A Gold Glover at second base had a rough night at the office last night.
Orlando Hudson has won Gold Gloves in both leagues in his career. Edmonds to the opposite field. Young playing deep. Comes in, makes the catch for out number 2. Defensively, Ron Gardenhire positions his outfielders as deep as any opponent the Brewers see all year. I mean, they're practically standing on the warning track against some of the power hitters.
Taking away the slugging percentage, forcing the Brewers to put multiple hits on the board, 2-3 hits an inning, as opposed to maybe the walk and the double. You play deep, you put the pressure on the offense, and you keep them to singles as opposed to extra base hits, and the Brewers are all about the slugging percentage.
Jonathan Lucroy with 2 gone, and McGee over at first. Lucroy back in there today, catching a day game after a night game. Not a problem for a 24-year-old, I suppose. Lucroy was on twice last night. He scored twice. Was 1 for 3 with a walk. And he has been rewarded with a lot of playing time here lately, and he's played very well. Quick trip to the mound there by Drew Butera.
I played against his dad, Sal Butera, catcher. Minnesota Twins, Toronto Blue Jays.
Blackburn will take care of Luke Croy. The inning is over, so he works around a 1-out walk. And we head to the third. They're filing in at Summerfest. No score here at Miller Park. Presented by Piggly Wiggly, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin, and by Ho Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. Well, Yovani Gallardo has 2 scoreless on the board today, and Rock over his last 5. Look at the earned run average, a 1.54 ERA, and what started this stretch of games was a complete game shutout against the New York Mets, his first complete game shutout of his career.
And his month of June has been very good. He's only 1-1, but a 2.08 earned run average, 30 strikeouts, and has been very consistent in throwing strikes. Matter of fact, at Colorado, his last start, only walked 1 and struck out 9. So he has been on the top of his game since that complete game shutout.
Gallardo facing Nick Punto to start this third inning. Yovani with a strikeout at this point. 3 ground ball outs, 2 fly ball outs. Well, we mentioned Gallardo is chasing Tim Lincecum for the National League lead in strikeouts. Lincecum has 113 right now. Lincecum won the strikeout race last year. Gallardo needs 10 today to tie him. He's had at least 10 strikeouts on 4 occasions this year. And you never know how Charlie Manuel is going to choose his pitching staff. The National League All-Star manager this year, but Gallardo has been very consistent. But you figure with only 6 wins at this point, he's going to need to probably lead or be near the top in a couple of categories. And right now he's in that position with earned run average and strikeouts.
Opponent batting average is not far from being out of the top 10 at 221 coming in today. Some good starting pitchers, and there's been some very good performances so far in the first half.
No, there's another strikeout for Gallardo. That's number 2 as he puts one right by Nick Punto for the first out.
Well, controlling the fastball both in and out been key for all the starters for the Brewers the last week and a half to 2 weeks.
Well, Ron in Brookfield wants to know what we're asking right now. Carsoup.com email the booth question with all the great pitching. Is Yo getting overlooked for what he's been able to accomplish this year? And I would say yes to that, because there have been some amazing pitching stories in the National League this year, and it starts with Ubaldo Jimenez and the season he is having, which is at this point one of the greatest seasons ever by a pitcher in the game of baseball. Jimenez was roughed up a little bit yesterday by the Boston Red Sox. But I think the latest pitching story to come on the scene is Steven Strasburg, and there is a circulation of all-star talk concerning Strasburg as well, even though he's just been in the big leagues for 4 starts.
Well, you got Josh Johnson throwing the baseball well. Halliday is probably going to be an all-star. Carpenter. Matt Cain, Lincecum. So it's just a matter of how many starting pitchers Charlie Manuel wants to bring in the all-star team.
And there is also the factor, the new rule this year, that if a pitcher is not available, if he starts the Sunday before the All-Star game, he is ineligible for the All-Star team. And we had Doug Melvin on earlier in the week, and he has not tracked that out just yet. And we won't either. So we'll let the powers that be figure out where they're going to put Gallardo. There's a shot to left. Braun, he is there, and the inning is over. Blackburn, the second out as Butera lines out. So 2 gone here in this 3rd inning.
I'm amazed after 4 starts they're already talking about Strasburg as an all-star. 4 starts.
And that is a great debate. That is one for the water cooler that will.
What is the debate?
Send it boiling.
It's 4 starts.
Well, you know, I'm going to play devil's advocate here, even though I agree with you. But
he's good.
Who's the best story in baseball right now?
Okay, that's good. And I agree.
An all-star game is an exhibition, even though there is a World Series home field advantage at stake. If you're trying to grow the game, continue to grow the game, I think the fans, I know I would love to see Strasburg pitch. The question is, has he earned it? As Gallardo makes another nice play. That's 2 excellent plays from the mound. Well, we'll tumble around that one when we continue. We head to the 3rd inning. The Brewers are coming up. Weeks due up 3rd.
Crew in the community. Brewer fans, this season you have a chance to be a part of the Brewers Community Foundation. At every home game this season, the foundation is staging a 50-50 raffle. They're selling tickets for $2, and half of the net revenue will be awarded to a lucky fan each game, with the remaining proceeds going to the foundation. So far this season, they have raised more than $250,000.
All right, Drew, thanks a lot. The 50-50 raffle, it's been a big hit. Brewers are looking for the sweep here today against the Minnesota Twins. It hasn't happened since 1996. The Brewers won 4 in a row from Minnesota back then. Craig Counsell ready to lead off. A festive atmosphere here at Miller Park. And I would imagine many of those in attendance here today, and there is 35,000 strong, many headed over to Summerfest as soon as this game's over.
Yep, Tim McGraw singing down at the Summerfest grounds tonight. You're a big country guy, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lady Antebellum is opening up for him. That's one of my favorites.
See you down there.
I'll be there. Craig Counsell leads off for the Crew. No score as we play in the bottom of the third inning. And if you're watching our broadcast from somewhere other than Wisconsin and you're wondering what all this Summerfest talk is about, well, you do yourself a favor and do a Google search. It's one of the great events in the country. And it happens every summer right here in Milwaukee, right on the lakefront.
It's Summerfest, all the ethnic festivals all summer long.
Counsell takes a call at strike 3. Second strikeout for Nick Blackburn, and they both come on fastballs.
Well, fastball's in. You talked about it with 2 strikes. He's not afraid to come in there, and Bruce Dreckman rings him up. Well, both pitchers establishing fastball early on today.
The understated Twins right-hander, Nick Blackburn. He's only 28 years of age. Twins locked him up. They saw enough from him over the last couple of seasons to give him a contract extension. He signed a 4-year deal that'll run through the 2013 season. Structured a lot like Yovani Gallardo's contract, as a matter of fact. Although Gallardo's was a 5-year deal. That one's well hit. Slicing away from Kugel. That's a base hit. Gallardo to the wall. He's on his way to second, and a double for the Brewer pitcher.
Well, they continue to swing the bats. The Brewers starting rotation. Wow. Yovani Gallardo hits one hard to the opposite field. Looked like it was misjudged by Kugel and Wright. Hit a little bit harder than he thought. He went over to the line, then had to go back, had to retreat, and it was too late. How about the swing that Gallardo puts on that fastball? Fastball away, and he rips it into right field for a 1-out double. Now the top of the order coming up.
Well, Gallardo has 6 hits this year, 2 doubles and 2 homers among his 6 hits. And the first hit of the ball game is by the Brewer pitcher. Weeks a chance to put the Brewers on top. Ricky drove in 3 last night. 41 ribbies today. He struck out looking his first time up. And that one is ripped down the line foul. Weeks just got out ahead of it.
They got out in front of a breaking pitch that Blackburn left up in the strike zone. They just couldn't wait back long enough, and Ricky hit it hard but hooked it foul.
Ball and 2 strikes on Weeks. Corey Hart on deck. Corey Hart, we've talked about the benefactor of hitting second and hitting in front of Braun or Fielder. I think Ricky Weeks has enjoyed some of those rewards hitting in front of Corey Hart as well. We've seen a lot of hittable pitches. The kind of season Hart is having and the kind of home run power he possesses. Pitchers aren't real interested in pitching around Ricky Weeks to get to Hart with men on. And as Hart enters his second week as the 2-hitter, it's not a coincidence that Weeks' numbers have spiked during this stretch.
No, it says a lot. When you look at those 41 RBIs, it says a lot about the bottom of the Brewers order. Getting on base, Lucroy, Escobar. We've talked about the Brewer pitching staff, how good they have been in getting on base with the base hits. But, you know, Ricky, as you mentioned, the last few weeks, getting more fastballs to hit and taking advantage of it, particularly lately.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Blackburn against Weeks. With Gallardo at second, a double down the right field line. And a chance for the Crew to put one on the board here with a base hit, perhaps. Outfield very deep as Weeks sends one to left. Backing up is Delmon Young. He looks up and she's gone. Ricky Weeks with his 12th home run of the year. A 2-run shot, and the Brewers take a 2-0 lead over the Twins.
Well, put the barrel on that baby right there. I'll tell you, Ricky had a good at bat. Just missing a double a couple of pitches before. There's that fastball. It was supposed to be away and leaked back over the heart of the plate, and Ricky Weeks got it on the sweet spot, carried out of here well. Got all the makings of a day where the ball is going to carry nicely. Everything opened up, very hot down there in the field. It's about as hot down there today as it's been all year.
Powerball home run number 12 for Ricky Weeks. And now he is tied with Kelly Johnson for most home runs by a leadoff hitter in all of baseball, not just the National League. Weeks homered here on Tuesday night. His 11th. That was a big home run. His first since June 6th. And now, as he squares up with a Blackburn fastball.
That was down a little bit on the trademark to see where the point of contact was. That pitch started, was supposed to be on the outside corner with that sink. Ended up on the inside corner, so he missed his spot by about 17 inches. And Ricky Weeks strong enough, didn't even have to barrel it up to knock it out of here. Look at that. I mean, right there, that's now in the sweet spot's right about there. And Ricky missed the sweet spot, but still strong enough to knock it out of the ballpark.
Testament to his power. And now Hart draws the walk. Well, this started with a Gallardo double. A home run and a walk later, and now Blackburn in a little bit of trouble as Fielder steps up. Trent's popped up to the catcher in foul territory his last time up and continues to grind away at home plate. Fielder, opposite field. That is way back there, and this ball is out of here. Fielder with a 2-run homer. 4-0 Milwaukee. Fielder belts his 14th.
And we said it, this is a day where the ball's going to carry pretty well. Blackburn, his second home run allowed today, his 5th home run allowed in his last 3 starts. That pitch up in the zone, and Prince knew he hit it pretty well. It just barely carried over that left center field fence into the Brewers bullpen. And the Brewers with a 4 spot here in the 3rd inning. A lot of Prince's power lately has come to left center. Nothing wrong with that.
Now Fielder homered in Anaheim against Irvin Santana. That was back on the 15th. That's his first since. And Prince with 14 now, 29 runs batted in. 2 2-run homers in this inning. Weeks and Fielder, and it's 4-0.
Now all 3 hits in the inning, extra base hits. We talked about slugging percentage, as T.C. Bear is just about given up.
Lifeless.
It's early yet.
Come on, TC. Quit being so fair-weathered, right?
The Brewers with the 3rd best slugging percentage in all of baseball. Boston and Cincinnati ahead of them. And maybe not even Cincinnati after this inning.
4-0 Crew.
Of course, you can play your outfield as deep as you want as long as you hit them out of the ballpark. Doesn't matter.
They still have to be inside the wall. But you make a good point, because I think with Weeks and Fielder. Both balls hit well, but not as good as they could possibly be hit with Fielder and Weeks, who just have extraordinary power between them. We showed you the point of contact on Ricky Weeks, and I think Fielder, although he knew he got enough to get it out, nowhere near the stretch of his power. That's when you know you're a power hitter, when you cannot get it completely right and still hit one out, as Braun shoots one foul.
Yeah, some hitters, their best bolt is right on the sweet spot, as good as they can hit them. But the big boys, they don't have to strike them perfectly to knock them out of the ballpark, particularly on a day like today.
Still just one out. Braun had a good cut. Ball and 2 strikes on Braun. He bounced out his first time up. Stays alive. Braun at 306 is just outside the top 10 in hitting to start the day. Martin Prado of the Atlanta Braves still leads the league. He's hitting .336, and he leads the league in hits. Some kind of year for Prado. He has 103 hits already. Ryan Braun led the league in hits last year. He was the only National Leaguer to post a 200 hit season last season. He's 4th in hits as we speak, with 86.
And on pace for another 200 hit season at 86 right now.
All that much more impressive what Prado's been able to do. That one's rifled into the gap in right center, and that will shoot to the wall. Braun with extra bases. Well, the Brewers, the second time through the batting order, tattooing Nick Blackburn here.
And playing deep and still not able to cut those balls off. I mean, Ryan Braun just whistles this one into the gap. A line drive over the second baseman's head, just carries on through the gap and off the wall. Nice easy swing for Ryan. I'll tell you, he covers the outside corner as well as anybody in baseball, and with power. So after the council strikeout, 5 consecutive base runners.
And 4 of those on extra base hits, 2 doubles, 2 home runs. Here's McGee, still just 1 out, and the Twins bullpen begins to stir. Casey bounces one to third. Kadire. And a high throw pulled down by Morneau. McGee is out, second out of the inning. Well, the struggles continue for Nick Blackburn. Hard to figure. He was as good as any Twins pitcher through the month of May. A 5-0 record in the month of May, and he beat the Yankees twice. Also went the distance against division rival Detroit.
And 5 starts. He threw 37 in the 3rd innings. His shortest start was 7 innings. A .265 earned run average, and just the opposite here in June. 0-3, only 15 innings of work. So he's not lasting very long. And a 12 ERA before today.
No, in 3 of his last 4 starts, he has not been able to get through the 4th inning. He did have a 7-inning performance, pitched well against the Braves 2 starts ago, but his last start, an inning and 2/3, he went 2 2/3 against Oakland, only 3 2/3 against the Seattle Mariners. So something not quite right with Nick Blackburn. Homegrown pitcher Nick Blackburn came out of that Twins system. Former #1 prospect of the Twins organization as late as 2008. Off the end of the bat. Young got a late start, but he'll run it down, and the inning is over. But the Brewers go boom in the 3rd inning. 2 2-run homers. Ricky Weeks with his 12th. Prince Fielder with number. Two childhood friends from Florida, Fielder and Weeks. They've known each other since they were teenagers, and they both homer in the same inning in the 3rd. Say, if you've ever dreamed of seeing the crew on the road, watch Brewers telecast on June 28th, 29th, and July 1st for the chance to win a trip for 2, courtesy of AirTran Airways. Log on to foxsportswisconsin.com. Click on the AirTran Flyaway link for more details. Should be a great trip. We'd love to have you on the road. Always good to see Brewers fans join us away from Miller Park. 4-0 Milwaukee as we head to the 4th. Gallardo has retired 9 straight to start it. Back to the top of the order now. Denard Span here in the 4th. Gallardo with 2 strikeouts. And again has used his fastball exceptionally well. That's really been the turning point for Giovanni. There is that fastball, and it's strike 2 on Span.
And it doesn't have to really be on the corners all the time when you keep it down. That's what the Brewers starting rotation has been doing. You know, Manny Parr, particularly yesterday, was really down in the zone with all of his pitches.
One thing it has allowed Gallardo to do is stay in games longer. Not so many pitches through the early innings. Matter of fact, Gallardo in his last 8 starts has gone a minimum of 6 innings. And there's the fastball right by Denard Span. Strikeout number 3 for Gallardo.
Climbing the ladder on Denard Span. Fastball's down in the strike zone. Right after a curveball in the dirt. Goes up around the letters, and Span can't hold up. Swings right through it. What do you say? Like chocolate cake?
Looks good.
Bad for you. Tough to catch up to a high fastball like that, particularly when it's in the low to mid-90s.
You know, the fastball velocity doesn't jump off the page at you with Gallardo. He has a good fastball, but there's something about his fastball that hitters will tell you he hides it well. You don't see it, you don't pick it up.
Sneaks up on you.
Kind of curls it behind his head. There's a good example of one. Blistering fastball in the inside corner. In the air. Weeks backing up. And he'll make the call and the catch. Second out of the inning.
Hey, go to Brewers.com tonight through July 1st. Vote 25 times to elect your favorite Brewers to the All-Star team. And you will be eligible to win a night in Ryan Braun's suite. That's complete with 12 tickets, food, and a visit from Ryan himself. Visit Brewers.com/All-Star for complete rules.
So you have till the end of this homestand to vote. Justin Morneau, he'll be headed to the All-Star game as a starter most likely. Morneau and Mauer look like they are poised to be All-Star starters in the American League, as is Ryan Braun at this point. We were talking about Steven Strasburg and whether he should go to the All-Star game or not, whether he should be selected. I guess it's all in Charlie Manuel's court, right?
Yeah.
He might get a few phone calls, but Charlie Manuel has said he's there to win. Morneau slaps one to left. Braun backs up, and he's got it. Ryan Braun, a nice catch in left field, and Gallardo is perfect through 4. Weeks with a 2-run homer, and then fielded 2 batters later another 2-run homer. And a 4-0 Brewer lead. Gallardo has been sharp. 12 up, 12 down for Yovani Gallardo with 3 strikeouts. Just a beautiful afternoon for baseball here in Milwaukee. This homestand continues tomorrow. The Mariners will be in town. Seattle has won the first 2 from the Cubs. And they're sending up Felix Hernandez today, looking for the sweep against Chicago. That win last night for the Mariners behind Cliff Lee's gym allowed the Brewers to join the Cubs in a tie for 3rd in the Central. I think, Ken Maka, he's not looking at division right now. The Brewers are still 9 back, but you should try to start to catch teams and play your way back to 500 and climb the ladder with a lot of games still to play.
Yeah, that's the key, getting back to 500. And certainly a series sweep would go a long way in making up some ground. But beyond that, you just need to keep winning series.
The Brewers open the day 9 games under 500, 31-40.
And it's nice to know that the Brewers aren't going to have to deal with Cliff Lee or Hernandez in that Seattle series. 2 of the American League's best.
Well, there was a little speculation that Cliff Lee might not even be a Mariner by this upcoming series. But all of a sudden, Seattle starting to play better. They've won 6 in a row, the Mariners. They're still 11 games under 500, but they put a good string together. They'll play the Cubs today and then head to Milwaukee after the game as Lucroy bounces one to Nick Punto for out number 1. Lucroy is 0 for 2 and the first out for Blackburn in the 4th. AT&T trivia: does Twins manager Ron Gardenhire have more losing seasons or 90-win seasons? That's a great question. Gardenhire is now in his 9th year. He took over in 2002. And the Twins have won 5 division titles under Ron Gardenhire.
As long as you remember, it's been Tom Kelly and Ron Gardenhire, so that there's been a lot of consistency in that organization since the 80s.
Yep, 2 managers since 1987. 15 years. Gardenhire, a former major league infielder, got a little time with the Mets. In his playing days, he was sent from the Mets to the Twins, and that's where he ended up starting his coaching career. As Counsell slaps one to center, and that's an out. 2 gone, 2 up, and 2 down for Blackburn in the 4th.
Hey, fans, on Saturday against the Mariners, the first 10,000 kids 13 and under will get a Century Foods pennant featuring the Brewers glove logo. Each pennant also includes a Dean's Foods coupon. Ball and glove logo pennant. My personal favorite.
A lot of kids at the ballpark today as Gallardo comes up with another hit. Well, Giovanni, that gets by Denard Span, and Gallardo is on his way to second. So another Twins error. Gallardo with his second base hit, a single. He advances on the E8. And the Brewers with a base runner in scoring position with 2 outs.
Now 4 errors now for the Twins in this series, and 3 of them coming from their outfielders. That's very unusual. A slider or cutter that stayed right down the middle of the plate, and Giovanni able to bang it into center field. Not sure what Span's doing out there in center. Ball goes right under his glove, and Gallardo now in scoring position. A bit of lackadaisical defense by the Twins, in all honesty, in this series.
Yep, and you just don't see that very often from this club. It's only the 2nd error of the year for Span. He's a sure-handed center fielder. It's only the 25th error for the Twins. They are at the top of the American League and at the top of baseball for fewest errors. But it has been a different story in this series. Now the Brewers can take advantage. Last time up, Ricky Weeks with Gallardo at second. Went deep to left. A 2-run home run, his 2nd homer of the series. And he put the Brewers on the board. He has had some meaningful hits and RBIs in this series. And we take it back to 05, his first career home run, Ricky Weeks. It came against Johan Santana against the Twins here at Miller Park.
Swing hasn't changed much, but Ricky's got a little bit more meat on those bones.
He draws a walk. 2 on for Corey Hart. A few more meat and on his bones and a few more dreadlocks, I think, for Ricky Weeks.
Yeah, 3 walks for Nick Blackburn. That's unusual as well.
Now Corey Hart is coming up. His numbers since mid-May just jump off the page, don't they? 15 of his 18 home runs, 42 of his 54 runs batted in, coming since May 15th. And Hart goes into right field. That ball is down for a hit. Here comes Gallardo. He'll score. Weeks on his way to third. The Brewers add to it. It is 5-0 as Hart drives in number 55 of the year.
Well, and Jason Kubel fortunate that he was able to grab that baseball, because if it got by him, you knew Ricky was going to be able to score, and maybe Corey Hart might have touched them all. You don't know. Well, how about the approach by Corey Hart, whistling one into right field? Not a bad pitch. Might have been up a bit, but it was on the corner. Goes right with it to right field. And Kubel doing a heck of a job keeping it in the glove and limiting the Brewers to only one run.
Well, that RBI from Corey Hart joins Hart with Troy Glaus, second in the National League. David Wright is the league leader in RBIs with 56. And Ron Gardenhire has seen enough. He is going to make a change here in the fourth inning. So Nick Blackburn again is out before he gets through four for the fourth time in his last 5 starts. Pitching change. We'll take a timeout. They brought him up to DH in interleague play. This was at Miller Park, and in that same game his Weeks homer Fielder with his first home run. That was against Jesse Crane. A short day for Nick Blackburn, and the Twins have to be concerned about their starter.
He's just not able to keep the ball down or put it on the corners, getting a lot of the plate.
Fielder bounces one to second. So Dunsing comes on and gets Prince to end the inning, but Milwaukee adds one to it. It's 5-0. at Miller Park as we head to the 5th inning. Our AT&T trivia here today. Does Twins manager Ron Gardenhire have more losing seasons or 90-win seasons? What do you think? Has 4 90-win seasons. His lone losing season was 2007 when the Twins went 79 and 83. Just one losing campaign in 8 previous years as manager of the Twins.
And that's not that horrible, actually. It's been a solid organization for many, many years. Figure out ways to win. And that's the bottom line. They might not douse you with great pitching all the time or a lot of home runs, but they come up with ways to win year in and year out.
And the right mix of players all tugging on the same rope as Kubel takes a strike. Well, Gallardo starts to come into the spotlight here. Giovanni has retired the first 12 batters, has 3 strikeouts, and he'll deal with the middle of the order here in the 5th inning. Stake to a 5-run lead, and it's been Gallardo's bat that has started both of the rallies. Giovanni struck out Jason Kubel in the 2nd inning. Two balls, 2 strikes on the Twins right fielder. Three and 2. Kubel started in right last night, had 2 hits and a walk. Also had a double. Kubel was not in the starting lineup on Tuesday, but he did come in to pinch hit, and then he stayed in the game at 2 at-bats. And it was actually his broken bat line drive that ended up as an out and turned into a double play that got Axford out of a mess in the 8th. Axford would go on to save it, a 2-inning save. Swing and a miss. Down he goes. Gallardo strikes him out.
And there's that fastball once again on a 3-2 count right down the middle of the plate. Number 4 for Yo. And not messing around at all. Not talking about the corners at all. You're talking about outer half, about mid-thigh high, and Kubel swings right through it. Just blew it right by him.
Well, as those shadows begin to creep out toward the mound, it becomes tougher and tougher to hit. Gallardo has been impressive so far today. 13 straight retired. Facing Michael Cuddyer now. Cuddyer bounced back to the mound his last time up. It was a good play by Gallardo. He chases one. Cuddyer getting to start at third base again today. That might become a more regular occurrence for Cuddyer as long as J.J. Hardy is not available. The former Brewer Hardy is out with a bone bruise on his wrist, and Brock, he just cannot get healthy.
Yeah, it's a shame for J.J. You know, this is the second series against the Brewers that he's missed. He was on the DL the first time these two hooked up in the end of May.
Got him. Curveball. A strikeout as Cuddyer goes down swinging, and Gallardo has 5 strikeouts. Back-to-back K-boys in this 5th inning.
Yeah, start him out throwing the high fastball by him, then 2 curveballs. Fouled off one and one in the dirt. Jonathan able to keep it in front of him. And that's exactly where you want that curveball.
Last 8 starts by the Brewers, a 3.17 ERA, the opponent batting average.
I'm going to draw again. 3 home runs is all.
It's been a key.
That has been the big difference, and I think that the reason for that is they're ahead in the count more often because they're establishing and using the fastball much more early in the count, not messing around, not trying to trick batters so much. Fastball still the best pitch in baseball, even if it's only at 90, or I should say 87, 88 miles an hour. If you can locate it, you're going to win.
Delman Young. And he lifts one to left field. Braun is back at the track, feeling for the wall, and makes the catch. A close call, but Gallardo is through 5. Has not allowed a hit nor a base runner. Sports Wisconsin is presented by the Wisconsin Lottery and its family of instant scratch games. Odds are you'll like them. And by Airtran. Go, there's nothing stopping you. Thursday afternoon baseball at Miller Park in Milwaukee. Glad you're with us. Brian Anderson with Bill Schroeder, Drew Olson. Today's game being produced by Chris Withers and directed by Michael Odino. And something cooking here as Gallardo is through 5 innings. He's retired 15 straight to start this game. The Brewers have 5 runs on the board. 2 2-run homers. Weeks had one in the 3rd inning. Fielder also in the 3rd hit a 2-run homer. Corey Hart has the other RBI. He singled with 2 outs to drive in the 5th run. Braun, McGee, and Edmonds due up in this 5th. Braun doubled his last time up. Shot one through the gap between Kubel and Span in right center. Casey McGee would follow. And Braun chased one. Down it goes on strikes. Well, Dunsing came on to get the final out. Nick Blackburn out after 3 2/3 innings. Dunsing is now retired. Fielder and Braun, his first 2 batters faced.
And Dunsing started that 7th inning in which the Brewers were able to score a run without a base hit. Dunsing got taken out. He hit Prince Fielder, walked the batter, and the Twins would proceed to not be able to turn 2 double plays, and the Brewers able to score a run.
In 2 close games in this series so far, the Brewers won 7-5 on Tuesday night. Chris Narveson the winner. Axford saved his 5th. And then last night it was a 5-3 Milwaukee win. Manny Parra winning for just the 2nd time. And Axford with his 6th save. John Axford has 6 saves. Half of his saves have come against Minnesota this year. One and 2 on Casey McGee.
Yeah, don't figure on seeing John Axford today. Pretty good chance he's going to get today off.
In 2 innings on Tuesday night and a stressful inning last night.
all stressful in the ninth inning.
Yeah, good point. Now, Axford did give up a run last night, but he managed to strike out Justin Morneau for the second consecutive game to end it. The Brewers have now won 3 straight, their longest winning streak of the year, 4. So they can match that with a victory here today. Two-two pitch. Off speed, McGee pops it up. 2 outs.
Well, that brings us to today's time of the game winner, and it's the 5-star Lanes in Plover. You know where Plover is? South of Stevens Point. Everybody knows that. If the Tavern calls the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game this year. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
2 gone for Jim Edmonds. There's a strike. Edmonds back of the starting lineup this afternoon. He started the opener of this series and had 3 hits. The 0-2 to Edmonds. Down the line, that is a fair ball. Over to cut it off is Young. Edmonds on his way to second. And it's another extra base hit. The Brewers are racking them up today. A 2-out double by Jim Edmonds.
Well, it's 5 extra base hits, 2 home runs, and 3 doubles. Giving the Brewers 246 extra base hits this year. And Edmonds doing what he does best, taking one to the opposite field, tucking it inside that left field line.
It's that classic left-handed stroke. He's been at it a long time, and Edmonds, when healthy, has been a big contributor for the Brewers. Nursing a shoulder injury on the last road trip. But now 4 hits in the series, and he's at second for Jonathan Lucroy. Gallardo can't wait to hit. Look at him. He's already got his gloves on. He's still 3 batters away. Lucroy still looking for RBI number 1 of his big league career. He's 0 for 2 this afternoon. Lucroy playing in his 14th game as a major leaguer.
Not sure if it's a coincidence or not, but just about the time that Jonathan Lucroy started catching every day, that's about the time the starting rotation has really started to come into form. Of course, George Kottaras has done a nice job with Randy Wolf. Wolf is in a nice stretch right now.
There's a strike. 2-2 the count. Well, Randy Wolf scheduled to pitch on Saturday. That's his next turn to the mound. And you'll see Kottaras back there. There's George sitting next to his pitcher. Lucroy sends one to center field. Span will make the catch. The inning is over, and all eyes on Yovani Gallardo. He heads to the mound for the 6th. He's retired 15 straight. Can he keep it going here at Milwaukee?
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Milwaukee Brewers and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Brewers. Great day for baseball and a great day for Gallardo so far. Nothing but zeros for Yovani Gallardo. He is perfect through 5. With 5 strikeouts, he has retired the first 15. Nick Punto leads off for Minnesota, and Gallardo is in there with strike 1. Gallardo against the bottom of this Twins batting order. Punto, Butera, and then the pitcher spot coming up. Yovani, a complete game shutout, the first of his career. That was against the New York Mets right here at Miller Park on the 28th of May. Gave up 8 hits in those 9 innings, but struck out 7. In there with a strike. 1 and 2 to count on Punto. And down he goes. Gallardo with number 6.
Right on the outside corner. Nick Punto doesn't like it. They talk about precision with your fastball today. Check out that pitch. I'm not sure how you can complain about that. Very close to that outside corner. And Nick Punto thought it was off the plate. Bruce Dreckman rings him up. Hey, come out to Miller Park as your Milwaukee Brewers host the San Francisco Giants July 5th through the 8th. Tickets are going fast. Call 414-902-4000 or visit Brewers.com today.
Here's Drew Butera, and he lines one into right center, and that's going to fall, a base hit. So the first hit for the Twins comes with 1 out in the 6th inning. And Gallardo's string of 16 in a row snapped, and a standing ovation from the Miller Park crowd.
Well done by Yovani Gallardo. And he did it very efficiently through 5 1/3, only 62 pitches. Butera picks on a first pitch fastball and hits it into right.
Well, Dunsing is going to hit here as he squares the bunt. So Gardenhire going to take the innings and avoid the opportunity for a pinch hitter. First hit of the ball game with 1 out in the 6th.
The outer half up in the strike zone, and Butera gets the Twins on the hit board in the 6th.
There's a strike. No walks, 6 strikeouts for Gallardo. Gallardo now 4 strikeouts away from joining Tim Lincecum at the top of the National League strikeout leaders. As Dunsing bunts it foul, and it's 1 and 2.
Yeah, the Twins go to New York after today's game, and Ron Gardenhire doesn't want to burn his bullpen. He has used an awful lot of relievers in this series. 4 in yesterday's game and 3 in the previous 2 games.
And against the Phillies in that 3-game series, which the Twins won 2 out of 3, Gardenhire asked his bullpen to pick up 14 innings in the final 2 games of that. As Dunsing bunts through it, that's another strikeout. It's out number 2. Gallardo has 7. So 2 outs, still a runner at first.
Game the curveball, and not much of an effort by Dunsing, who I would imagine has never tried to put down a bunt.
So 2 outs, and here comes Denard Span. Gallardo's low hit complete game of his career came against the Astros last season. He gave up 5 hits in a 9-inning game. Brewers are in a stretch of 20 consecutive games here. Always nice to be able to give the ball to a guy who has a chance to finish one. Out to Weeks. And the inning is over. So Drew Butera spoiled the big fun. Now Gallardo has his sights set on a shutout as he's through 6. Made it 4-0. Gallardo has been electric here this afternoon. Giovanni with 6 shutout innings, 7 strikeouts. He has given up just 1 hit, which came with 1 out in the 6th inning after Giovanni started this game by retiring the first 16 in a row. So here we go to the home 6th. Craig Counsell, Gallardo, and then Ricky Weeks due up. Brian Dunsing back on the mound for the Twins. Counsell struck out looking in the 3rd inning. Flew out to center field his last time up. Counsell getting the start at short today for Alcides Escobar. And down he goes on strikes. Tough matchup for Counsell against the lefty Dunsing. So 1 gone here in the 6th inning. Our Ho-Chunk Gaming Wisconsin text question. Nick and Marshall wants to know, other than the DH pitcher hitting, what's the biggest adjustment for players in interleague play, Rob?
I don't think there is one. I mean, particularly this, this Twins-Brewers series. I mean, the Twins have been here quite a bit. It used to be that in interleague play when it first started,
Gallardo bounces 1 to second for out number 2.
They were umpiring crews in the National League and a separate group of umpires in the American League. And sometimes it took a while to understand, strike zones and how umpires called games and called balls and strikes back in those days. But that's not the case anymore. All the umpires umpire for both leagues. It used to be the American League was the high strike league with the umpires having the balloon chest protectors, and the National League had the conventional chest protector inside the shirt. So I don't think, other than the designated hitter, the double switches, things like that, there is much of an adjustment to make.
I thought it showed up a great deal with the 2 managers last night and the way the game was played. I think an American League game, there would be no circumstance the way Liriano was pitching last night where he would be removed after 5 innings. But last night, with Gardenhire's club down, he was forced to use a pinch hitter for Liriano. Liriano had 7 strikeouts through the first 5 innings. But these 2 games specifically, because they've been so close, and it is a bit of a rivalry here, a lot of energy in the ballpark. They've been played at a high level, and I think both managers have been in the grinder for both of these games. As Weeks lines one to left, that's a base hit. Ricky Weeks is on fire right now. Continues to swing a hot bat. His second hit, had 3 yesterday, and it's another 2-out base hit for Milwaukee.
And such quick hands for Ricky Weeks, just waiting back, and you can see how well he's balanced after his swing. And he perfectly balanced on the front and back foot, and that means he's staying back, just trusting his hands, and as quick as his bat is, he doesn't need to do anything but just throw the head of the bat at the baseball, and that's what he's done in the last week or so.
Gives Corey Hart a chance at the plate. Now the Brewers today, offensively, have 4 hits with 2 outs in an inning. And they have put 5 base runners on with 2 outs in an inning. Corey Hart's RBI single in the 4th came with 2 away.
Well, the only time the Brewers have been retired in order has been the 1st inning. Other than that, they've had men on base. They're 2 for 6 with runners in scoring position, including Ricky Weeks' home run.
Good fastball from Dunson. 1-2 the count on Corey Hart. Into center field. That one is sending Span back. He's at the track, and he's got it. Inning is over. The Brewers get a hit but fail to score. We head to the 7th. Gallardo back on the mound. Sports Wisconsin is presented by the new Miller Lite Vortex bottle. Taste greatness. And by Toyota. Thank you for standing by us. For more information, visit buyatoyota.com. Final game of the series with the Twins. The homestand continues tomorrow. The Seattle Mariners in town. Our Miller Lite What's on Tap 3-game series with the Mariners. Then Houston is here for a 3-game set at Miller Park. A 9-game homestand in all. Hope you'll make plans to be with us. Pitching matchup is in place for the next series. Dave Bush, Randy Wolf, and Chris Narveson Mariners are going to counter with Ryan Rowland-Smith, Doug Fister, and Jason Vargas. Vargas has been one of the best of the American League this year, joining Felix Hernandez and Cliff Lee. The red-hot Mariners come to town tomorrow. Winners of 6 in a row as Hudson goes down in a heap. It's been that kind of year for Orlando Hudson. A shoulder injury earlier in the season, and then a wrist injury a few weeks back.
And pounds this one right off the top of his foot, the instep.
And a middle infield that is already shorthanded for Ron Gardenhire. This is the last thing he wants to see.
Those hurt a lot more when you're down 5-0 in the 7th.
It's on a getaway day.
Yeah.
So Hudson taking his time to walk it off here as Gallardo patiently waits. Could be playing possum too, you know.
I don't think so.
we had the video proof.
Yeah, that hurt.
It looks like he's in a lot of pain. Now if he reaches and he tries to steal second base, we'll know something's up. Gallardo coming right after him, and Hudson still barking a little bit.
Having a tough time putting weight on that front foot.
Hudson injured his wrist on a collision in short right field, so he was already struggling at the plate anyway with injuries. Hurts his swing a little bit, especially as a left-handed batter. The 0-2. Ball and 2 strikes. Got him. Gallardo strikes him out. That's number 8 for Giovanni.
And no way he's going to swing at a pitch in on him. That's kind of dirty pull there, yo. You bust him inside. If he swings at it, fouls it off again. He doesn't want to hit one off his foot again.
Memories are still too fresh.
Right. Perfectly right on the inside corner.
Well, Gallardo is putting together one of his best. Can he keep it going here at Miller Park? A 1-hit shutout facing Justin Morneau.
And remember his last time out, we were talking, it was a kind of an early exit in that Colorado series. 6 innings, only 105 pitches. This could very well be an opportunity for Yo to pitch a little bit deeper into today's game.
We'll try to slider on Morneau. 2 balls, no strikes.
Morneau has hit the ball hard both times up, both to left field.
Lucroy sets up away, and a curveball strike. So with a 5-0 lead, Gallardo gives him a 2-0 curveball.
No hitter's going to look for that.
Another one, and Morneau bangs one into right center. Edmonds able to cut it off, and he'll hold Morneau to a single. What a hitter he is, Justin Morneau.
Yep, he hit 2 fastballs from Gallardo his first 2 times up, lined out to left. Took a curveball, back-to-back curveball. They tried to double up on him. The second one better than the first. This time Morneau able to wait back and hit it hard into center field. Almost got himself a double. For a guy that has the power that he has very good plate coverage and plate discipline.
Second in the American League in hitting behind Robinson Cano of the Yankees. Morneau with his first hit. Jason Kubel with a runner at first and 1 away. Gallardo has struck out Kubel twice. Once looking, once swinging. And And they'll ask if he went. Yes, he did, says Gary Darling. Kubel unable to check his swing. And it's a ball and a strike.
Hey, Gallardo's starting to use his curveball a little bit more. Yeah, third time through the order. Coupled to Justin Morneau. And on a 1-0 count, got Kubel to offer at it.
Prince Fielder and Ryan Braun will start the next inning. And it's Gallardo in the spotlight today as he misses low. 3-1 on Kubel. Kubel is the answer to a good trivia question. Who led the Twins in RBIs last year?
Jason Kubel.
Jason Kubel. Justin Morneau drove at 100. Kubel drove at 103. You're on top of that one.
What do I get?
Into left. That's going to fall. Braun knocks it down. Fortunate that didn't get by him. And a throw to second. Morneau is back. So back-to-back hits for the Twins. They have something cooking here in the seventh. Well, if you've ever dreamed of seeing the Crew on the road, you can watch the Brewers telecast June 28th, 29th, and July 1st. For a chance to win a trip for two courtesy of AirTran Airways. Log on to foxsportswisconsin.com. Click on the AirTran Flyaway link for more details. 2 on, 1 out for Gallardo. And here comes Michael Cuddyer, who could make it a game again with one swing of the bat.
Yeah, he also grounds into a lot of double plays. Only 84 pitches for Gallardo so far in the 7th inning. Well, within his limit.
Cuddyer has bounced into 13 double plays this year. He's been a big run producer for the Twins in his career. Has a decade in the big leagues now. Michael Cuddyer. His best year was a 109 RBI season at 06. That was the year Santana won the Cy Young. Cuddyer was among the league leaders in RBIs. 2 balls and a strike.
And does a good job providing protection behind Mauer and Morneau. Two pretty good left-handed hitters, and Cuddyer does a nice job driving in the runs that those two don't.
Cuddyer had a career year in home runs last year. He hit 32 for the Twins. Here's the 2-1. Strike on the corner. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Michael Cuddyer, the Twins' third baseman today. Normally the Twins' right fielder. Well, if Hardy does not come back anytime soon from the disabled list, you can see Cuddyer getting more playing time over at third base. If you look at his career numbers. And it's his bat that has him in the lineup. Gallardo puts one right by him. A fastball got him. Number 9 for Gallardo. And the second out of the inning.
Yeah, a lot of curveballs early in the count. Got ahead of Cuddyer. Then fastballs late in the count. It was a 2-1 count to Cuddyer. Got the fastball on the outside corner, and that one right down the middle. It looked as though Cuddyer looking curveball. Got the fastball right by him.
So Giovanni with 2 outs, both on strikeouts. And it's Delmon Young at the plate. Out to Weeks. Gallardo is through 7 shutout with 9 strikeouts for Yo. Ryan Braun, he'll hit when we continue. Fielder Prince Fielder leads off for the Brewers in the 7th inning. Fielder, Braun, and McGee to start it. A 5-0 Milwaukee lead. It's been a good day for baseball for Brewers fans here today. They have seen their offense come up with some timely hits. They've seen the big sluggers hit the home runs. Fielder had a 2-run homer in the 3rd, as you see in our Wendy's at the plate. And Gallardo is on his game today, and one of his best games of his career at this point. A 3-hit shutout through the first 7 innings. He has 9 strikeouts.
And doing a nice job in the heat here at Miller Park today. Very hot down there, and Gallardo and Jonathan Lucroy doing a heck of a job today.
2-2 to Fielder, and a swing and a miss.
Dunsing hasn't been too bad either.
So 1 gone. Let's check in with Craig Kashawn and Jerry Augustine. Guys, what do you have?
Well, we're getting ready for the post-game show, and Jerry's going to talk a lot about Yo's performance and all-around outstanding performance so far.
Again, great command of his fastball, using his off-speed pitches in good spots. The one thing he's done today also, he's played some defense. A couple balls hit back to him, made some nice plays, and both innings that the Brewers have scored, he started off each of those innings with base hits.
Yo showing everything. The arm, the glove, and also the bat as well. And hopefully he'll continue this, and we know Drew's going to go after him for our post-game report coming up, presented by Lincoln Mercury, guys.
And if there was anybody who is able to handle the heat, it is Yovani Gallardo. Mexican-born, Texas-raised, and he knows all about the heat and the humidity. As Braun sends one to center field. Backing up his span, and he's got it for the out. Ryan just missed it on the bat. 2nd out of the inning. 2 up and 2 down for Dunsing. Well, Nick Blackburn went 3 2/3. It was an early exit for him. Dunsing has come on and settled this game down to keep the Twins somewhat in striking distance. Although against Gallardo down 5, it must feel a little different for Gardenhire's club. But this is a team that scored 5 runs in the 9th inning against the Phillies in Philadelphia to tie the game, and then won in extra innings over the weekend.
I mean, you hate to say it before the ball game's over, but the Minnesota Twins have only scored in 4 innings in this series. I hope I didn't jinx it.
And the Twins scored 3 runs in the 1st inning of the opener on Tuesday. Casey McGee off the end of the bat, a base hit. So McGee with his first hit of the game. He's 1 for 3. And another 2-out base runner.
That looked like a cut fastball or a slide or something that stayed out over the plate. And Casey with that nice, easy swing. Not much moving in those legs. Able to bang one into center field. So Casey McGee in the hit column today.
That's the 5th hit with 2 outs for the Brewers today. Impressive number. The Brewers have been able to cash in some of those hits as well. They scored 4 runs in the 3rd inning. But in the 4th inning, Corey Hart drove in a run with 2 outs on a single. If nothing else, it has allowed the lineup to be turned over. Jim Edmonds batting for the 4th time already here in the 7th inning. 5 runs on 9 hits. Edmonds doubled his last time up. Had a 2-out double down the left field line. Cubs and the Mariners are underway. Cubs lead it 1-0 in the 2nd inning. That game is in Seattle, so it's going to be a long flight for the Mariners as the Brewers open up with Seattle tomorrow. It'll be fun to have the Mariners in town. Hall of Fame broadcaster Dave Niehaus will be here, and former Brewers scouting director and current Mariners general manager Jack Zarenzek will be here as well. It'd be good to catch up with Jack. He's a good man. Mariners off to a very bad start, but they've turned things around here lately. Edmonds hits one hard into left, but Young is there. Side retired. To the 8th we go. Gallardo back on the stage.
Mariners coming to town. It's going to be partly cloudy, breezy, and warm tomorrow evening. First pitch temperature right at 78 degrees. Gusty wind, though, out of the south at 10 to 20 miles per hour.
That's okay. That'll cool us off a little bit, Bernie. We don't mind. Beautiful day today. Summerfest opens up. The Brewers continue their homestand. The sombrero's working. And Yovani Gallardo is dealing today against the Minnesota Twins. Yovani with a 3-hit shutout through 7. Bottom of the order coming up for the Twins. Nick Punto leads off. Punto has struck out twice. Yovani with 9 Ks on 3 hits allowed. And no walks.
And only 92 pitches right now. That's the impressive thing. All those strikeouts, but the key is no walks. I mean, no walks for Yo. That is an unusual statistic, but that's why his pitch count is where it is right now, 92, as we start the 8th inning.
Well, he has done it all today. Gallardo has been terrific on the mound. As Jerry Augustine mentioned, his 2 hits started rallies through the 3rd and the 4th. Both run scoring innings. Gallardo with a double and a single. Punto a little flare. That's going to fall. A base hit. A leadoff hit for Nick Punto. So you know about Gallardo's pitching and you know about his hitting, but how about his defense? Our Home Depot doing more on defense. That was early against Kadire. That was in the 2nd inning. And then the quick reactions against Nick Blackburn. So it's been a complete game in a lot of ways for Gallardo.
And Jerry Augustine and I are going to talk about that. Pitchers fielding their position in our post-game instructional.
There's 2 schools of thought there. If you're a good athlete, good fielding pitcher, you get yourself in a good fielding position. If you're not, then you just totally fall off the mound and roll over and then show the hitter your back, and that way you don't get hit in the face.
Right. And most strikeout pitchers are guys that really aren't in good position to field once they get rid of the baseball, but Gallardo the exception to that rule. He's so well in control of everything from the beginning of his delivery until he releases the baseball.
Drew Butera at the plate with a runner at first. Well, during the spring, with new pitching coach Rick Peterson, he is heavily into the biomechanical feedback, as are the Brewers as an organization. But Peterson was able to bring it to the major league pitchers, and he wired them up to be tested. They went through the simulator, and Gallardo, as far as his mechanics and pressure points, distribution of torque, was about as good as Peterson has ever seen.
Yeah, well, that minimizes injury, or at least the risk of injury. Not a lot of pressure on the elbow or the shoulder. That's always good.
McGee on a short hop to second for one. Got a chance. The turn, and it's Lee. Good try by the Brewers. Butera beat it down the line.
That's a risky throw by Casey McGee right there.
So one out, a runner at first, and we check in with Drew Olson. Drew?
Well, B.A., earlier in the game you talked about Ron Gardenhire wanting to preserve his bullpen for the series this weekend when they go to New York. I asked Ken Maka about the flip side of that equation before the ball game. I asked him if he is more liberal in using his bullpen on the day before Yovani Gallardo starts, and he said, well, that's a good idea in theory. He actually just says you got to win the game in front of you. Win the game that night, or worry about tomorrow. And even though Yovani's been giving the Brewers, a good amount of innings, he's not at the point yet where he does that.
Yep, here's Jim Thome who takes a strike, and Drew makes a good point. And I think Ken Maka, as he goes through the rotation, Gallardo is the guy, and every manager wants one, needs one, that gives him that break from the bullpen, that allows him to go deep in a game. And I think all the bullpen pitchers feel the same way.
Yeah, when you're down 5-0, I mean, you get your bullpen guy in there, and Dunsing's done a nice job. I mean, if nothing else, not only has he kept the Brewers off the board, but he's been able to keep that bullpen, the rest of the bullpen, out of the game. Can only imagine if Dunsing had problems, you have to blow through your bullpen. The only pitcher that hasn't been used out of the bullpen so far has been John Roush, and that's good news for the Brewers. He's their closer.
Well, Dunsing for the Twins has gone 3 1/3 of scoreless baseball, as Jim Thome pinch hits for Dunsing, and there is big John Roush at 6'11". Two balls and a strike. Thome fouls it back. At bats for Jim Thome are going to come few and far between during this week for the Twins. They have interleague series in National League ballparks all week. 3 here in Milwaukee, then they go to New York to play the Mets for 3. And for an American League club, that's always a concern for a manager, that your primary designated hitter is a guy who, as Gallardo strikes out Thome, and he's barking on his way back to the dugout. Yovani with number 10.
Now, Thome came up in yesterday's ball game, and Zach Braddock struck him out, and now Gallardo catches the outside corner with one. He can't walk it across home plate any better than that. Tough pitch to take with 2 strikes, and Bruce Dreckman rings him up.
A good call, and a big strikeout for Yovani. That sends him to the top of the National League. He joins Tim Lincecum for the National League lead in strikeouts. And there's the list. A 10 strikeout game for Gallardo, his 8th 10 strikeout game of his career. And not done yet. 2 outs in the 8th inning. Still a runner at first. And a strike. But back to Thome, Ron Gardenhire's concern is that you go through these games in National League cities, and all of a sudden you get back into American League play, and Jim Thome might have 4 or 5 at-bats in a week.
Yeah, lose his stroke. Yeah. That's why a lot of times an American League manager will throw a guy like Jim Thome and play him defensively. Maybe play him at first base once in a while. Give Justin Morneau some time off. Remember back, in the 90s, Edgar Martinez, the designated hitter. They tried him at third base. They tried him at first base, but that didn't work out too well. But you can't just keep these guys on the bench for 2 weeks.
Well, a low throw from Counsell, but a nice play by Weeks. The inning is over, and Yovani is through 8. homer in the third inning. Put the Brewers on the board for the first time. And then it was Prince Fielder also in the third inning. Also a 2-run homer. And he made it 4-0 with that big swat. Corey Hart drove in a run in the fourth. Yovani Gallardo has been the star today, however. Gallardo with 10 strikeouts, 8 shutout innings. He's working on a 4-hit shutout through the first 8 and is 3 outs away from his second complete game shutout of his career. The Brewers will face John Roush here, the Twins closer, with a 5-0 lead, just exactly how you want to face a closer, especially a guy who has had a great season. Roush with 17 saves.
Yeah, amazing, 17 out of 20.
He's currently third in the American League in saves. Neftali Feliz of the Rangers has 20 saves. Kevin Gregg of the Blue Jays with 18, and then it's Roush and Joakim Soria of the Royals. And what a find he has been for Gardenhire's Twins. Joe Nathan out with an elbow injury in spring training that required the ligament replacement surgery, out for the season. The Twins weren't sure who was going to be closing games and if they needed to go acquire a closer, but Roush from day one has been terrific.
Yeah, he has been very good, but the Brewers got to him back in Minneapolis. If you remember, Roush had a rough inning. Gave up a bunch of runs, blew a save. Not a guy, I mean, a guy as big as he is, you would think that he's a hard thrower, but he's not. He relies on control. He throws in the upper 80s, the low 90s. Got a good breaking pitch.
A little pop-up foul territory, and Butera makes a catch. Let's take you back. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. How about deliveries of the game? Ricky Weeks with his 12th homer, and then Fielder number 14. I was back in the third. The Brewers scored 4 runs in that third inning. Added 1 in the fourth, and that's been all they would need so far today for Gallardo.
Gallardo's had a nice delivery today. And how about Brian Dunsey? You can't say enough about what he was able to do. He pitched 3 1/3 innings. Did not allow a run, and pretty much saving that Twins bullpen.
That was an early exit for Nick Blackburn. 3 2/3. He's on the hook for the loss. Craig Counsell is 0 for 3, batting with 1 away here in the 8th. Don't forget, Brewers Live coming up after the game today. We'll hear from the manager. And if Gallardo can finish it out, we hope to hear from him as well. The soft-spoken Texan, Yovani Gallardo. Opening day starter, and he has emerged into that bona fide ace and pitching like an all-star now. Another one to Butera, foul territory, 2 outs. So 2 up, 2 down for Roush.
That's the third foul pop-up for Sal Butera today. That's a bunch.
Listen to his hand for Gallardo. Well deserved. He's done it all today. With his arm, with his bat, with his glove. Mark Attanasio, Brewers chairman, certainly enjoying his investment here today. Gallardo signed a multi-year deal earlier this season. Back in April, a 5-year contract. 2 hits today for Gallardo, including a double, and he scored twice. That one's into right center. On the run is Span. He's got it. So the inning is over. Gallardo trying to finish it out. Can he go the distance this afternoon at Miller Park? Well, let's take you back. May 28th, it was against the Mets. Yovani Gallardo, his first career complete game shutout. And at the time, Ken Mock is saying that is a threshold rocket. Any young pitcher, if you're going to be an ace, if you're going to be a dominant force in this league, a threshold you must cross. Gallardo did, and he has been lights out ever since.
And not that he was real bad before that time, but I think Yo learned a lot in that start. I'm not sure what it was or what the breakthrough was, but since that time he's really relied a lot on his fastball, not so much on his breaking stuff.
Trevor Hoffman getting loose just in case Gallardo cannot finish here today. Orlando Hudson leads off for the Twins. Hudson, Morneau, and then Kubel. 5-0 Brewers. Gallardo has been in complete command.
Another strike, 0-2 the count. And that pitches like that fastball right on the inside corner, outside corner, and he's kept the curveball down. Haven't seen too many sliders, haven't seen hardly any changeups today. It's been basically 2 pitches.
Well, Gallardo struck out Hudson on an inside corner fastball his last time up. And a couple of pitches prior to that, Hudson fouled one off his foot. So you know that's still in his mind. Some of the superlatives for Gallardo, his high strikeout game this year, 11. He has 10 today. Another strikeout, Gallardo goes to the top of the National League leaderboard by himself. Currently tied with Tim Lincecum for strikeouts. The 1-2 pitch. Got him. Another strikeout for Gallardo. Hudson helicopters the bat. Only a testament to Gallardo's stuff still in the 9th inning.
Yeah, curveball that is the pitch that got him that time, and steady diet of fastballs to get ahead, curveball in the dirt, and the curveball to put him away. Took a little bit off, and Hudson not even close.
So it ties a season high for strikeouts, and there's Morneau on the first pitch. Man, oh man, this guy. something else. An extra base hit for Justin Morneau, a double. His second hit. And that's the 5th hit for the Twins overall.
It's amazing the way he can go to the opposite field. Not a bad pitch by Gallardo, and Justin Morneau able to slice it just inside the third base bag. I mean, that's the kind of a swing you see from a spray hitter, a middle infielder, but he's got power. Covers the plate so well. Be good to get this guy out of town.
1 out, runner at second base, and it's Jason Kubel. Twins are at the heart of their lineup. Gallardo's pitch count at 115 with that curveball strike. Giovanni's low hit complete game was a 5-hitter, but he did give up some runs. That was against Houston last year. In his complete game shutout against the Mets, he gave up 8 hits. He was perfect through 5 1/3. He retired the first 16 batters he faced. And although he has thrown 116 pitches, he has never really been in big trouble in this game. Even when the Twins put 2 on in the 7th, Gallardo was pitching with a 5-0 lead.
Right. I think Ken Maka feeling much better about leaving Yo out there right now with 117 pitches after throwing only 105 his last time out.
Here's the 1-2. Off the handle. And Weeks will make the play. Second out of the inning. And Gallardo is an out away from his second complete game shutout, and they come to their feet here at Miller Park. Nearly 36,000 on hand today. And Gallardo is an out away from sealing this one up. A sweep of the Twins hasn't been done since '96. He went. It's 0-2. The bullpen acting as the spectators here today. Just sitting back and enjoying this one. Twins down to their last strike. Gallardo's 0-2. Caballo stays alive. And with that pitch, Gallardo logging the most pitches in a start. Had a 121 pitch outing twice, and he'll do that at least today. 0-2 the count. Did he go? Yes, he did, and that's your ball game. And Yovani Gallardo, dominant today against the Minnesota Twins. He goes the distance. A complete game, 5-hit shutout.